see this, and I don't mind calling them out, but Captain and Burkina Faso, as they know that both, whether it's their gold reserves, that is all those proceeds are just in exchange to protect the junta regime. There's a number of examples across, even in Sudan.
When a U.S. general goes on record accusing an African leader of using gold to protect himself, you know something big is happening. In a statement to the U.S. Senate, General Michael Langley, commander of AFRICOM, claimed Burkina Faso's gold reserves are being used not for the people, but to secure the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré. But here's the question we all should be asking. Isn't that gold Burkina Faso's in the first place? In today's video, we'll expose the agenda behind this statement, highlight the power shift happening across Africa, and explain why the world is watching Burkina Faso more closely than ever before. In Burkina Faso, gold is no longer just a mineral buried deep within the earth. It is becoming a tool, a catalyst, a symbol of transformation. Each coin invested in agriculture brings more harvests. Each ounce that funds a hospital saves more lives. Each nugget that strengthens security guards the hope of tomorrow. Burkina Faso is proving that even in a world of uncertainty, a country can rise when it chooses to invest in its people, its land, and its future. This is more than development. This is the story of a nation reclaiming its destiny, 1 gram of gold at a time.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The U.S. general has accused Captain Ibrahim Traoré for using gold reserve to protect himself instead of benefiting the people of Burkina Faso. The thing that is not true. The question is why U.S. is concerning about Burkina Faso's gold, and why at this time when Burkina Faso has took control of all of its mineral, and we see road being built, we see financing infrastructures, we see what Captain Ibrahim Traoré is doing. But why U.S. is accusing Captain Ibrahim Traoré? What is behind of this agenda? Welcome and join with me in this video where we are going to explore the truth and to expose U.S.'s agenda to young leader Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Welcome.
Captain Ibrahim Traoré is not just a military leader. He's become a symbol of Pan-African resistance, youth-led leadership, and sovereign control over resources. At just 34 years old, he seized power in a move that shocked the world but inspired millions across the continent. After years of failed leadership, foreign dependency, and endless instability in the Sahel region, Traoré's rise signaled a break from the old guard. Instead of begging for aid, he began talking about resource control, national pride, and security through self-determination. His government began prioritizing domestic gold processing, ending the export of raw minerals, and ensuring value remained in-country. These weren't just policy changes. They were revolutionary statements in a region long controlled by foreign mining giants and foreign-backed governments. Laying the first stone is first and foremost a question of sovereignty. In the environment of gold production in Burkina, for a long time it was said that we were not a gold-producing country. But for some time, gold has become the leading export product. But we do not have control over gold, whether it is research, production, as you have seen the refinery. We asked ourselves lots of questions, and today we decided to put a whole chain together. You follow with fishing that we want to exploit the gold ourselves. And today we are laying the first stone of the refinery. It will no longer be a question of us taking our gold outside to be refined. We refine it on site. We know what the real content of the raw gold that comes out is. That is very important. And also it is necessary that through SONASP, we are in the process of inviting local gold miners to bring the gold back inside, because SONASP is the structure which will buy back the gold, and that we can refine here. A lot of gold leaves Burkina fraudulently, and which also contributes to fueling terrorism. So we invite gold miners, whether collectors or others, to bring the gold back to the central portion, and at the same time also invite SONASP to increase the number of counters to be able to collect the gold. And in addition to this refinery, I hope that in the coming days, we have another bigger project that is underway, and that is waste treatment. A factory which was designed by Burkinabe engineers, which is currently in the test phase, and we hope that in the following hours, They will tell us that the test is conclusive, and that therefore makes a complete chain to be able to valorize our gold. Burkina Faso may be landlocked, but it is rich in what the world wants: gold. The country is one of the top producers in Africa, with reserves worth billions. For decades, these riches flowed out of the country in raw form, enriching corporations in Canada, France, and beyond. The people remained poor. Infrastructure collapsed. Security became a nightmare. So when a leader says, "Enough. We will process our minerals here. We will use our gold to defend ourselves," it sends shockwaves through the corridors of foreign power. And let's be clear, Burkina Faso's move is more than economic policy. It's a direct challenge to the status quo of foreign exploitation dressed as development. General Langley's statement wasn't just an observation, it was a message. By framing Traoré's use of gold as self-serving, Langley implied corruption, without evidence, without proof. But here's what's hypocritical. AFRICOM exists precisely to project American military power on the African continent. It supports leaders who serve U.S. interests. So when a leader emerges who doesn't need them, who doesn't bow, he's labeled a threat. The statement also reflected an old colonial mindset, that Africa's resources must serve Western-approved purposes. When Africans decide how to use their own gold, it's suddenly a problem? That's not security concern. That's control panic. The framing of Traoré's defense efforts as protecting the elite ignores that his leadership was born out of popular demand. He didn't install himself with U.S. money. He rose through the army, supported by the youth.
Et à Bobo Dioulasso.
The global gold market is tightly controlled. Western economies hedge currency, insure banks, and back investments with it. So when Africa starts saying, "We'll refine and keep our gold here," you're not just disrupting trade, you're challenging the monetary order. This isn't just about Burkina Faso. It's about sovereignty over value. If African nations begin using gold to back currencies, fund security independently, or resist IMF dependency, the financial ripple effect will be global. That's what they fear. When Western governments lose control over how and where African gold flows, they lose a tool of leverage. This fear manifests as diplomatic pressure, economic threats, and yes, military rhetoric like Langley's. Resource nationalism isn't a dirty word, it's a right. Every country has the right to control what lies beneath its soil. But when African leaders attempt it, they're called dictators, nationalists, or threats. It's the oldest game in the book, and it's one of the main reasons leaders like Patrice Lumumba, Muammar Gaddafi, and Thomas Sankara were eliminated or overthrown. Traoré's crime is not tyranny, it's independence. He is defying a decades-long tradition where African wealth props up foreign economies. By rejecting that model, he invites both admiration from Pan-Africanists and opposition from international stakeholders. You can't talk about Captain Ibrahim Traoré without mentioning Thomas Sankara, the revolutionary leader who once renamed Upper Volta to Burkina Faso, meaning land of upright people. Sankara also pushed for local control of resources, rejected IMF loans, and cut the salaries of top officials, including his own. His vision was of a self-sufficient Africa, proud, independent, and united. But in 1987, that vision was cut short. Sankara was assassinated in a coup many believe had foreign fingerprints. Today, Traoré is walking a similar path, and the global reaction is chillingly familiar. When a young African leader dares to prioritize his people and control national wealth, the old powers start circling again. Western narratives about Africa haven't changed. The media constantly portrays independent African leaders as strongmen, dictators, or military juntas, while ignoring the will of the people behind them. Captain Traoré's rise wasn't some self-serving power grab. It came from a failing system, supported by the youth and the people who were tired of foreign-dominated leadership. But the moment African leaders reject foreign control, the media switches gears. They're corrupt. They're militarizing. They're authoritarian. It's propaganda. And it's not new. The same was said of Kwame Nkrumah, Gaddafi, and even Nelson Mandela at one point. What matters is not how the world sees them, but how Africa remembers and supports them. Burkina Faso is not alone. The Sahel region is undergoing a political transformation. Mali, Niger, and Guinea have also taken bold steps toward reclaiming national sovereignty, cutting ties with foreign forces and pushing for local control. ECOWAS, once seen as a tool for regional unity, is now criticized for acting under Western influence, often pressuring these sovereign nations to conform. But the people are speaking louder than any diplomatic threat. In rallies and social media across West Africa, you'll hear the same thing. We support our leaders. We don't want foreign troops. We want control over our land, our gold, our future. The spirit of Pan-African resistance is alive. And it's not just political. It's cultural, it's generational, and it's unstoppable. Captain Traoré's decision to process gold in-country and remove foreign control sends a dangerous message. Dangerous for those who have benefited from Africa's disunity for decades. If Burkina Faso succeeds in keeping wealth within its borders, investing in infrastructure, education, and local defense, it becomes a model that others will follow. A threat to the colonial economic template that says, Africa can have raw materials, but not value-added wealth. That's why AFRICOM is speaking up. That's why the media is shifting the narrative. Because they know, if this new African consciousness spreads, their influence in Africa will fade. For good. Burkina Faso's stand is not just for Burkina Faso. It's for every African country struggling with resource exploitation, foreign intervention, and systemic poverty. The message is clear. We don't need to beg. We need to believe. If one country can control its gold, another can control its oil. If one country can defend its leader from external threats, another can protect its sovereignty. This isn't about war. It's about wisdom. About reclaiming the narrative and deciding as a continent that enough is enough. The West can question Traoré's intentions. They can criticize the way Burkina Faso uses its gold. But what they cannot deny is this. Africa is waking up. We are done watching our leaders fall. We are done exporting our wealth and importing poverty. Captain Ibrahim Traoré may be young, but he carries the spirit of a continent tired of waiting. And if protecting him means using our own gold, so be it. To the dreamers of another 1987, keep dreaming. This time, Africa is watching. And we will not allow history to repeat itself. If this video moved you, empowered you, or challenged what you've been told, subscribe now. Share this with your brothers and sisters. The narrative is changing. Africa belongs to Africans, and we are just getting started.
Well, you know, I know Kanu has been there for so long. He's been to several courts on several occasions. They can't even agree on what to do. And between me and you, Dr. Abati, you're a lawyer. Justice delayed is justice denied. This man has been taken to various courts. They don't even know which charges to give him anymore. This man was abducted out of this country. The manner of abduction was in itself illegal. It's a shame. It's a shame that this country will be involved in a thing like that. But they did it. Okay, now you took that gentleman to court, and he's been there for years. If you want to take him through justice, dispense justice with him, and then that's it. If you're going to jail him, jail him. If you're not going to jail him, let him go. What's the point of just keeping somebody there? And all of us, Nigerians, should be ashamed that we are being linked to this. In the turn, it's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame that this is what we've turned this country to be. A Nigerian, a citizen, and you treat him like this in his own country, it's a shame. All progressive Nigerians should stand up and say this should stop. This shenanigans should stop. How long should we continue with this? If this man has committed any offense, sentence him. That's it. But if he hasn't, let him go. What is happening is wrong. It's wrong. To any right-thinking person, it is wrong. And Afenifere will continue to fight for whoever in such a position. That is what we are known for. We'll fight against any injustice from wherever it is coming from. We'll fight against it. And Nnamdi Kanu is just there. We've been doing this. We've been doing this for years. We know it. It's a template. I don't want to start repeating over and over what we do. A fellow of mine, one of my friends came on the television and talked about Shugaba to you. I was personally involved